In tonight's episode of Common Sense Conversation with Lewis and Mike.
So that's what we're calling it, is Common Sense Conversations?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like we can
it.
start with that, and then if we evolve into something else, we can change it. You know, if you're not changing, you're not growing.
You're making way too much sense right now, but okay.
Common sense.
CSC, Common Sense Conversations. I like it. All right, let's roll with it.
So first of all, enjoying a nice stogie from, how do you say this? Racine, and Laramie? Racine, and thanks to the public that just pointed out that it's Racine and Laramie, and they are tobacconists, and they are in Old Town, San Diego.
Very nice place. I did enjoy going to that lounge we went to. It was quite pleasant. Nice area. Just that whole little neck of the woods, very nice.
It was the place with the guy dressed as a sheriff.
I thought he was
It was
like
a store.
It was the Union Soldier dude with like
Yeah. You're right.
Nice old timey place.
Yeah.
No, very pleasant, very upbeat, healthy energy place. Yeah,
I guess they change
that's
their costumes.
That's where you found the fish.
Yes.
You saw the submarine dolphins in the display container.
Yeah, should have bought them, but I didn't. So I guess they changed their costumes because last time I went, they were dressed as like old Wild Wild West sheriffs with the badges and everything. So I guess that day he was wearing...
Do you look like Will Smith or the real James West?
No, he did not. He did not look like Will Smith. So nice stogie and sipping on. I got a Cuba Libre, and I think Mike's got some what?
I got some fine wine.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but it's like Ménage à Trois, or what's the wine? Hey, I got it right. It's Ménage à Trois.
Ménage à Trois.
I actually said it the right way too.
You got to put more of that French accent.
Yeah, that's not happening. Anyways, on this evening's episode of Common Sense Conversations, we decided to take a dual path with it, and we're going to talk a little bit about immigration. And what was the other part of it tonight?
Side hustles.
Side hustles. So small businesses or small business ideas, something more fun and upbeat that I'm sure we'll be happy to talk about, and hopefully our listeners and subscribers will enjoy. So, I guess I'll just throw the wrench in the gears right now, and I'll just say our southern border is a shit show.
How long ago did this start?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was after this really, really great president named Donald Trump left office, and then this other not so great president named Joseph Biden Jr. decided, hey, come on in. Water's fine. Come in and have free everything on our tax dollars.
So it's always been an issue. It's just got way worse with the current president.
Yes. So it wasn't, from everything I've read, everything I've seen on the news, on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you call it, and from everything that I've seen from Customs and Border Patrol and Homeland Security, actual vice, whatever the devil's name is, Mayorkas, Alejandro Mayorkas, that knucklehead. His own cabinet doesn't even listen to him because they don't like him. But
is that the Mexican president?
He's the bald guy that's always on CNN, always on Fox, trying to say, oh, yeah, our border is secure. Our border is, in fact, secure. It's very secure. Oh, no, the border is secure. Well, how many people have come into the border? I don't know. I don't know. So the border has always been an issue, especially places like Eagle Pass, Texas. There's a couple real hot spots along the Arizona-Mexico border. And I believe Southern California has a couple hot spots as well. But essentially, it's gotten significantly worse under the current administration. The last administration, from everything I understood, it was getting much better, but it's gone downhill. And I believe we're up to something like, I don't know, like 15 million or 20 million undocumented immigrants, like illegal immigrants, just running amok, and just it's caused crime to go through the roof. And now I've actually been seeing a lot on X. It's called X. It's the social media that Elon Musk owns. But I've seen a lot of videos of Custom and Border Patrol agents and deputies and supervisors stating that I guess Biden has asked a few countries to take some of their immigrants back, and they said, nope, they're your problem now, deal with it. So it's like, okay, you're going to have millions and millions of illegals come in, a lot of them with, a lot of them are bad people.
You just sounded like Trump. Millions and millions.
You know what I mean? But he's trying to figure out what to do with all these people, and short and sweet of it is, a lot of these countries know that a lot of these people are bad people. They've committed heinous crimes in their countries. Now they're across the border in the United States, and they're like, well, United States of America, it's your problem now. We don't want them back because they're trash. It's like, of course. So everybody's trash becomes our problem. And I feel that the right answer, and I say it to people here and there, that there's a way to clean up the southern border. It'll take time. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it'll happen overnight. But there is a way to make the southern border much better. And the way to do it is, honestly, don't have the floodgates open. Have it be really stringent. Who cares if people get held up? When people want to come in, they have to go through an in-processing period. Thorough background checks are done. They shouldn't just be handed a cell phone. They shouldn't just be handed a Visa check card or a debit card. Because, I mean, I just saw, like last week, that the mayor of La Mesa, California, and the mayor of El Cajon, they publicly said on the news that there's thousands of illegal immigrants in Southern California, the San Diego area, and that they literally get handed Visa check cards and credit cards with like up to $10,000 limits. They get really nice iPhones, fully charged with a charger. Like, here you go, good luck. Run amok. And then when they don't have anywhere to go, the county mayor decides, oh, hey, we don't have anywhere to put them, and we have way too much of a homeless crisis. So we're going to spend taxpayer dollars on a multi-million-dollar immigration center where people can live for free, shower for free, stay for free, because it's on the taxpayers' dime. And I don't know, it just made me say, like, wow,
so just
really?
to put this into perspective, no other country in the world does things like this.
No.
Every other country just has borders. They're very strict who they let in. Hell, some countries have electrified fences, like Serbia, which I learned the other day has electrified 100 miles of electrified fence.
I remember back in 2011, 2012 time frame, my ex-girlfriend that I was seeing when I was in Hawaii, Hawaii, try to say it right, we took a trip to Montana to visit her family, and she had relatives that were up in Canada, and she had a DUI conviction from when she was in Hawaii, and they would not let her cross the border. I mean, she gave her passport, she gave her state ID, and the border.
Canada did not let her get in?
Nope, they turned us around.
That's kind of hard to believe, because Canada's pretty loose with their laws.
No.
But this is 2011, I guess.
But when we tried to go across the border, they held us up. They pulled us into like this vehicle inspection place just past the actual border checkpoint. And we were there a good 30, 40 minutes. And I remember while we were there, they had to step out of the vehicle. I had to be on one side of the vehicle. She had to be on the other side of it. We had to empty out our pockets. They searched the vehicle, did everything. And then they said, okay. They were like, sir, you can come into Canada, but is this your wife, your girlfriend? I said, no, it's my girlfriend. They're like, okay, your girlfriend has a DUI conviction. She is prohibited from coming into Canada. And I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yep.
That's wild. I don't know. It's hard to believe.
Well, maybe once upon a time Canada had standards, but
there we go.
But I'll tell you right now, the United States has no standards. Our standards are make our hardworking tax-paying citizens pay for everybody else's way, which is absolute BS.
It sounds like it's man-made, right? Like it's an attack on America itself. Like there's a certain group that it's targeting certain sectors to make America's situation way worse than what it is already, right?
Of course.
Because
It's
even other countries say it, like a president of El Salvador, said, you look at America and what's happening to them, and you know for a fact that it's an attack from the inside out. He said that in an interview publicly.
So you sent me that meme about Miley,
Yeah,
who I think is doing fantastic.
he's doing great.
No, I completely endorse.
He's doing great.
And condone everything he's doing. I think he's doing he's going to do wonderful things
Well,
for Argentina.
You
Wonderful.
know that he has 2 masters in economy? That's what he does. He's an economist. He is a average Joe that won the election. Actually, if you want to get more deep into it, he was mocked a couple
heavily,
years
Heavily. He was.
before.
No, I know. They treated him worse than they treated Trump when he was trying to even hint at running, and he's doing phenomenal things for Argentina.
You know that he showed up to a TV show and there was like other political candidates and they said, "Oh, what are you going to do? Run for president?" And he was like, I don't know. I don't remember his response, but then 2 years later, he's the president.
No, I saw that interview or whatever, that episode. I saw a stipend of it, and it was almost a mirror image of what happened with Trump. He said, I don't think so, or I don't have any desire to, and then he jabbed at one of them and said, but if I did, I'll not only could I do it way better than you, I will do it way better than you. And he was like, no, you won't. He's like, he pretty much said you don't have any common sense. You don't understand microeconomics, macroeconomics, and you don't understand how the economy works. And the politicians just kind of looked at him like, you're stupid. And he's like, well, who's got the last laugh now? Yeah. Oh, Milei. He's doing great. He's doing great. But anyways, he's cleaning up that country very well, and they're actually trying to like get their immigration policy down there straightened out because they had an issue with it. But either way, my mentality is that if you're not doing background checks to some degree, or at least verifying that these people aren't on a terror watch list somewhere, or they're not wanted by Interpol, or they're not wanted by the Crown or some entity, and that they don't have connections to ISIS, the Islamic State.
I'm not against...
just something. As long as they're not a part of
Yeah.
some organization that's willing to do pure harm, which, you know what ISIS stands for, right?
Something Islam, State of Islam?
No, it's...
ISIS?
ISIS, yeah. So,
Integrated Submarine Imaging System.
not that ISIS. No. I'm not saying you're wrong. No,
It's something
the
Islam.
bad guys.
Yeah,
ISIS.
it's something is State of Islam something. No? What is it?
Israeli Special Intelligence Services.
What?
Yes, I kid you not.
No way.
Bet.
They're not even from Israel.
No.
Israel.
We created them. We funded them. It was ISIS
okay.
was meant to be.
This is a conspiracy theory.
No, it's not. It's factual.
How do you know it's factual?
Because I'm smart. I'm well versed and I'm well educated, and
Right, but where's your source?
So, folks, for all the phenomenal listeners and subscribers that we have, I do follow another podcast on Rumble. It's www.rumble.com/andweknow. The host is a retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel. He goes by the name LT. Phenomenal man, very Christian, very conservative, great sense of humor. He actually makes it very lively. He does anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 podcasts a week, anywhere from 45 minutes to maybe just over an hour. Recommend 4 or 5 minutes to 5 minutes. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you much. But they've covered a lot of broad topics on that podcast, from ISIS to the Houthis to Al-Qaeda, you name it. So very informative, very educational. All his sources are cited. Everything's cited, everything's confirmed. But yeah, that's what I stand for. But anyways, back to the original point. The biggest gripe I have is that this country right now, this administration being the Biden-Harris administration. But I did think it was funny that Biden said, I would not endorse Vice President Trump because she blah blah blah. So he essentially crossed up VP Harris with former President Trump, which I thought was just the man doesn't. He's not all there. But anyways, you got to put your own citizens first. You have to.
Yeah.
And
That's the backbone of the country.
no kidding. And the fact of the matter is, this administration's put its own citizens as second-class or third-class citizens, while immigrants, not legal resident aliens, not temporary resident aliens, just illegal immigrants that shouldn't be here, are the primary concern. You know, they're treated like first-class citizens over our own citizens, which is absolute garbage. And it's something I don't endorse, condone, support. And, you know, I understand that former President Trump has made it clear that he will conduct or execute one of the largest deportation operations in this country's history. And you know something? He wants to drain the swamp, take out the trash. I'd say do it. And I don't care if you're a good person. I don't care if you're a good person from the Middle East, South America. If you're here illegally, in my opinion, you're a leech on society and you need to go.
Well, that's not entirely true, because
it may not be,
there
but
might be people, like what I was going to say before is I'm not against for anybody that wants to come into the country, that they're from another country, let's say Mexico, for example, but they use the right ways.
Yes.
They actually want to earn their citizenship, and
I
they say, I
completely
want
agree. No, I agree
Right.
with you. And that's the thing. I'm all for it.
So if they're good people, they need to be supported in a way. I'm not
But-
saying give them everything for free. I'm just saying give them the ways to become a citizen and serve society, like be an asset to the country.
I will tell you right now, where I've seen most legit, the most legit form of immigration is when I went down to Miami, Florida, a couple of years back. The Cubans down there, who are U.S. citizens.
Oh, they
now,
are proven to be one of the most hardworking
And-
races ever. Or
and I will
that's
and I will tell you right now, I went to a few mom and pop coffee places down there and whatnot when I was in Miami. It was when I was going down to the Keys, and they all came to this country the right way. They went through the process. They became citizens, and they are so anti-illegal immigration. And the Cubans love Trump.
well, they love America,
They love
but
America.
it's because what
They
well,
did
they-
the
what
right
they-
way. They
what-
did it the right way.
But it's because also what they've experienced in their own country for years. Cuba's been since the 60s, 50s, since
Something like
Fidel.
that. It's been
The socialism has destroyed the country, and they experienced it, and they want something better. They
There
come to
was-
the States and they get it.
I stopped at a mom and pop coffee place. I don't remember where in Miami it was.
Those Cuban coffees are great.
Oh, phenomenal!
Yeah.
Absolutely, they know how to do it right.
Yeah.
But they, you know, the gentleman, him and his wife were running the shop. Their kids were working there as well, saving money for college and such. I want to say they were in their mid to late 60s, and great people. And they said, "Oh, hey, excuse me, sir. Are you in the service or anything? I still had a tight haircut. My shave was pretty tight." And I said, "I am." They asked to see my ID, so I showed it to them, and they took 15-20% off my entire order. I was like, "You don't have to do that." They're like, "We do, because we have a military here that actually protects us and is actually willing to put it all on the line for people like us, and we respect that and we appreciate that." So I'm like, well, I appreciate it. I mean, I left them one hell of a tip.
Yeah,
because
that's exactly what I was just going to say that. Like in Yulee, Florida, Tasties, the burger place, they give 20% off military with or without uniform. So it's a big chunk of change,
Right.
20%. And I end up most of the time just giving the 20% back in tip.
absolutely.
Like, I don't care.
And the thing is that I absolutely loved about the Cubans down in Miami. We're out just outside the actual city. We're heading towards Monroe County, and they told me that they were all Democrats down there in that neck of the woods. And I was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. You people are actually very awesome, legit. And they said, we might be Democrats, but we're not stupid. They're like, we support President Trump. We want Trump back. We can't stand Biden. They're like, Biden's not legit. And I saw the shift. Like, I saw in Miami-Dade, is, historically speaking, a very blue, liberal neck of the woods.
That's pretty crazy.
It is, but
that's most cities.
yeah, most major cities are.
Yeah, most big cities. Yeah.
All I saw was Trump signs down there, "Make America
Well, it is
Great."
Florida.
You see the new signs, the new "Welcome to Florida" signs. Welcome to the free state of Florida.
Oh, I
Hell
didn't. I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
You take I-95 southbound through Georgia, and now the new welcome signs apparently say, "Welcome to the free state of Florida, Sunshine Headquarters." I'm like, okay, yep, they're doing it right down there. But anyways, I feel that the right answer, and it might sound harsh, I might rail somebody's cage with this, but I feel the right answer is we need a change of leadership, different administration, being the previous administration, come in, fire all these knuckleheads like Alejandro Mayorkas. What a turkey he is. He doesn't even know what he's talking about or doing half the time. Even CNN can't defend him because he's so out there. And I think you need to.
He's like a Fauci, but for immigration.
Fauci's a tool.
Well, for the health system, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think you need to, in a roundabout way, close the border down, except for those that have work visas that are actually, daily transits back and forth that, are frequent, that have the appropriate documentation, are legitimate. Sure, let them come in and out regularly, but I think there needs to be some sweeping measures put into place to find all these bad people, get rid of them, and actually tell these immigrants, hey, that iPhone you have ain't free no more. That Visa check card with a $10,000 cash balance on it for you, yep, you're giving that back or you're getting out. We're kicking you out.
Wait, so that's kind of weird, because are you telling me they're giving them a Visa debit card that has $10,000? Because
Yes.
then if it's not a credit card, because who holds the line of credit?
No, that's what I'm saying is these are preloaded cards.
Wow.
Yes, and
That's literally $10,000 cash.
no kidding. And when I was watching these videos on X, it's like I said, the mayor of La Mesa, the mayor of El Cajon, and there was another government official for another city down here in Southern California, and all three of them openly said, this is what's happening. It's been happening for a while. And they said this is because of Gavin Newsom and his failed policies, wasting money, misappropriation of funds. And he's like, you wonder why taxes are so expensive in California? Because they embezzle money and they hand out cash to illegals like it's candy. It's a known thing. Like,
that's bad.
and that's the thing. And folks, I'm not trying to push agendas here. I'm not trying to say, hey, vote Republican, vote red. I'm sorry if the facts hurt you and this goes against your narratives that you like to believe, but if you ever wonder why you have high state income tax, why you have high property tax, why the cost of fuel is through the roof, ask yourself, where's the money going? Follow the money and see what the state's policies are, and I can almost promise you the answer's going to stare you right in the face. But anyways, I believe it's a more fun topic to talk about.
Speaking of money.
Oh boy, here we go. So there's an abundance of ways out there to have a nice passive income, or how shall I put it, a secondary career or side hustle or whatnot. And Lewis actually has a little bit of experience. He's dabbled in this a little bit. So tell me about your little side thing, the food truck.
Around 2021, actually, this goes back to 2020. 2020, we decided, we were in Puerto Rico. We watched this great movie called Chef. I recommend it to everybody. It's really good. It has Jon Favreau, the guy that writes all the Mandalorian and all that good stuff. It's a story about he's a chef and he has a food truck, and his big thing is a Cuban sandwich. That's his thing. After watching that movie, we fell in love with it, and we loved the Cuban sandwich. So we decided to do a little bit of R&D, research and development, and then we started.
Wow. You said that perfectly well.
we started doing an extensive research throughout Puerto Rico and Florida, and finding the best Cuban sandwich, and then we found really good ones. We found really trashy ones.
Where you find the good, you can find the bad and the ugly.
Yep. So after the research was done, we were ready, and that was the big item in the menu. So we decided to start Chubanos. That's what it's called. Our food truck is kind of on pause, on hold right now because the actual food truck is in Florida. And, well, duty calls and military moved me away from Florida.
Oh, wait, what you're saying is you're a true patriot right there. That's what I'm hearing. Wow. You are a turkey. But anyways, you enjoy this, though. You and your wife enjoy the food truck when you're actually actively doing it?
We enjoy it, but I'm not going to lie. It's really, really hard work. You sweat like crazy because you're, in front of equipment that's running the whole time. It's a tight quarters, which I'm used to. And the work...
Submarines, baby, all day, every day.
Yeah. The hardest part was to actually bring it up from the ground, like getting the permits, getting it up to code, getting all the equipment,
the prerequisites,
everything.
All your prerequisites, checking the box. You had to have a small business license.
You have to have that.
Yeah.
You need fire extinguishing equipment, which is not cheap.
How about you have a GET for that as well? General Excise Tax number. Yep. So essentially, I would believe that's more than just a side hustle, though. I would say that that's more of a hobby for you that just happens to bring something extra to the table, some extra, I'll just say greenbacks, if you will.
It's really fun when we do it together. It's really fun.
So you and your wife have gone the route of a food truck, and because you're a true patriot and you put on the fatigues like me, that's on pause. So I've invested a bit into real estate, also into stocks, but I would also say that having rental properties as a passive income, a very difficult thing to start up, and can also be very complicated, fun, challenging at the same time, but a healthy level of challenging. But I've managed to hold on to a couple properties in the state of Hawaii on Oahu. Thankfully, they're rented out to some phenomenal tenants who have not only taken care of the properties, they've improved on the properties, and they've been very good with their communication with the property managers, which has been great. The house in Florida, so another one, that one's going great. I will say that depending on the rental market, obviously there's risks and rewards to everything these days, but the big thing to rental properties is you have obviously your short-term rentals, your long-term rentals, and your Airbnbs, which I don't dabble into that. I don't dabble into the VRBO.
There's good and bad from that.
Right. I just do long-term rentals because it's more concrete, more guaranteed. But from my own personal experience, folks, if you've purchased a home during the right time, i.e. when the market's on the lower end of the scale and you actually get it for a good price, more of a
good interest too.
Yep, good interest rate. So you're in what we would call a buyer's market, not a seller's market.
Yep.
You can do really well, and I've been lucky. I've been blessed that all the properties I've purchased have all been during a buyer's market with very, very keen low interest rates, thankfully. Everything below 4%, which nowadays is
unheard of.
Unheard of, diamond in the rough, good to go, golden goose.
Right now, you won't get anything, because we were looking at purchasing when we're going next in New Hampshire, and you won't get anything lower than high sixes. I think is the best VA would do.
That's for VA?
Yeah.
Holy
I think
mackerel.
it's almost a 7. It's like 6.
Good Lord.
0.8. I'm not sure. It ain't no 2.25 that I have on Georgia.
No, I was very fortunate. 2.75 for each for the properties in Hawaii, which is awesome. I think I'm at 3.5 or so in Florida, but still, that's the golden goose. Anything below 4% these days, that's the golden goose with the golden egg. So low mortgage payments, which is great. And then obviously the market's really high right now. So obviously to be competitive with the market, my advice is whatever the mean average rentals are going to, they're comparable to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Just be a little bit below the average. You're still going to be well above,
Kind of cut the competition.
Yeah, You got to
Yeah.
undercome. You have to. I mean, that's how you stay competitive. My wife found a wonderful Air Force veteran. No, correction, she's a Navy vet down in Jacksonville. And she's been the first property management company we had. I'm not going to name who they are. They were absolute. You know who I'm talking about too. Absolute garbage. Couldn't get it done in 4 months. So paying rent out here in Southern California and paying for a mortgage in Florida, things were a little tight for a bit. But literally fired our originally property management company, who may or may not be managing our HOA right now. And that's just
Ties into the last episode.
Yep. We're not
HOAs.
We're not going down that road right now. I literally fired them on a Thursday. No penalties, nothing. You know, they openly admitted that they screwed up and that it was probably best for us to part ways. My wife did a generic Google search, found this Navy vet, and we turned everything over to her that Friday. And by the following week, Tuesday, had a lease.
She's putting in the work, whereas
And-
the company wasn't.
And we were getting more money than the previous property managers could do, like $300-400 a month more a month. Like she did her job to the T. I've been nothing but pleased with her. So obviously no good deed goes unpunished, and appreciating hard work these days, I appreciate it very heavily. So probably this year around the holidays, my wife and I will probably be sending her a fine bottle of wine or something just to show some thanks.
You should give her a shout out here, because she's done a great job.
All right, well, her name is Regina. She's phenomenal. She's based out of Fernandina Beach, Florida, and she absolutely does a fantastic job. So a little shout out to Regina on Fernandina Beach. Phenomenal work. She truly earns every penny she makes. And if anyone would like a recommendation, if you're in the Nassau County, Florida, or Duval County, Jacksonville area, and you're interested in finding somebody to manage your property, leave us a comment on our page. And as long as she's good with us getting her some more business, we'll absolutely take care of you in that aspect. But the other things that I've noticed for side hustles, you know, some easy passive income. Yeah, that guy's burning his fuel. He doesn't care about the $5 plus regular unleaded fuel in the communist state of California. Nope, he doesn't care.
It's a bike. He puts in like, what, $10?
No, to fill a bike out here, it's like $35-40. You kidding me?
Woo!
Yeah, that guy's like, I don't care, you know, I make $35 an hour minimum wage, and I pay like, you know, 35% of that back in state taxes and federal tax. Yeah, I don't give. He's stupid. But anyways, I lost my train of thought for a second there. But the other, no, what I was saying is lawn services. You know, just basic lawn care services. You see a lot of that in Florida, Georgia area. That's a great way to bring in some passive income.
You know what? Another
You
thing
gotta-
I've seen that's big,
What's that?
and it might have a little competition now because there's a lot of automated car washes, but car washes at home, like people that come and wash your car, as long as the prices are, you know, acceptable,
Right.
they do well.
They do well. They do very well.
Or cleaning houses, pressure washing.
It's
crazy, too.
So I reached out to my brothers in South Carolina. They're in the Charleston area, and I just asked them for their 2 cents on things, because you know they're smart young guys, and they told me vending machines, ice machines.
Vending machine. I've heard of ice machines.
I've heard that's very lucrative. I've heard that
Yeah.
that's. I mean, you might have to fork up some money right up front to purchase the actual vending machine or ice machine, or machines plural, depending on how many you want to have.
The only thing with vending machines that I see is that you have to restock them. And so if you don't have somebody restocking them for
True,
you, and you're
but-
not local, then.
I
But
get that, but essentially, folks, the prerequisites you need for any sort of side hustle or passive income or something that doesn't require a ton of effort is obviously you have to go on your county or city's webpage for small businesses. There's probably a GT, general.
well, it does require a bit of capital.
It does, yes, but essentially,
Because what's the average vending machine? It's probably like $3 or $4 grand.
True. So as I said, it's a bit of an investment up front. You got to make sure you have the funds up front for it. So
Yeah.
we'll put a moderate cap on things right now and say anywhere from maybe $3,000 on the low end to probably north of 10 or 12,000 to maybe get up and running, and that's including your permits for your city and county, your general excise tax license, your GET license, your permit to place the vending machine on whatever property you're putting it on. Maybe you have to pay a stipend of rent or some sort to rent that little space. Obviously restocking, but if you have enough and you can get up and running, you're pretty good. In addition to that, laundromats,
That is number one, and I saw this from a post. Maybe it's not complete, 100% facts. It was like top 5 businesses that you can own, and I don't remember all 5, but number 1 was laundromats.
There's so many of those in Southern California.
Oh, crazy.
And you have your single load washers, your double, triple, quadruple, your 5 load, 6 load capacity washers. And I
feel like that's a little bit of a next level because that's a hefty investment.
It is. I actually met I don't know if it was a group, a family, what it was. I think it was a group of friends. It was like 5 or 6 friends, but they actually own a laundromat about 5 minutes up the road. And all they did was they all threw in,
They pulled resources.
Yeah,
that's what you should do.
They pulled resources. They all have equal share. They threw some money in the pot. I think they started off moderately at between like $7,500 to $10,000. They got a lease for the building, in like a strip mall for it. They got the permits, all that stuff. And they initially only started off with a few machines, and then they would chip away at their debt, chip away at what they owed, and then once they broke even and they started becoming lucrative with positive cash flow, then they started investing more money into more machines. And the thing's all up around right now. It's actually pulling in some real hardcore cash.
What about a laundromat / bar? Because you're gonna spend 2 hours there for real.
Oh yeah,
or
easily.
3.
Yeah,
so what
easily.
about a bar in there?
I will tell you right now, probably the best small business I've seen here in Southern California, and I was like, wow, I feel like I'm stupid because I didn't come up with this idea. It was down by the Imperial Beach neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I believe it was on Florida Street, which made me miss home so much. But it was literally a strip mall just a couple blocks from the beach, from the pier. And there was a sports bar, laundromat, beauty salon.
So everything in the strip mall.
Bro, I'm not.
Barber shop.
I'm not. Yep, a barber shop.
Everything you need.
Beauty salon, laundromat.
That is millions in investment, though.
They even had
What?
dog.
To own that whole thing?
They even had dog grooming or pet grooming.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like that's a big like.
And when I asked, I happened to notice that all the signs looked utterly the same.
Yeah.
So I just
You assume it was the same person controlling all.
I did. My wife and I were walking around. I was like, this looks very conspicuous. So I inquired about it, and they started off with one thing. They expanded to the next thing. They said it took.
That is brilliant.
They said it took a few years to get the whole operation up, but they just started asking people. They started listening to people and hearing what they were saying. Oh, if I'm going to be doing my laundry, like you said, for 2.5, 3 hours, it'd be nice to have a cold one, a drink or whatnot. It would be nice to take the dog so I can maybe get the dog bathed or whatnot, the nails clipped and such. And then,
It's like your one-stop shop.
it was perfect.
Yeah.
And very lucrative. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's crazy. So you have vending machines, you have ice machines, you have car washes to some degree. The one thing that I saw in Florida, and I swear to Jesus, when I saw these people doing this, I'm like, I'm stupid. I should have done this. There was an advertisement on Nextdoor, the friendly neighborhood app that's not Facebook.
It's not very friendly.
No, it's not. It's extremely liberal, and it's extremely judgmental and very...
Some people get banned from it.
You're not talking about me at all when you say that, are you? No, you're not.
Some people.
Some people. I eat me. Thanks, Louis. I saw this kid on Nextdoor. He was advertising for pressure washing.
Yeah,
And
solid business.
This kid, I think he had just graduated from high school. I think he was in college. He was taking the summer break or whatnot. And the neighbor across the way, he wasn't feeling well. Him and his wife, great people, phenomenal people, some of the best neighbors I've ever had. They weren't feeling well. I usually went over to offer to help them. And this kid pulled up in front of my neighbor's house across the street with an old Ford Ranger, a small quarter-ton pickup truck, had a push mower in the back of the truck, had a blower, had a weed eater, had a few gas cans, and had an electric pressure washer from like Harbor Freight. And he came down and he pressure washed the driveway, and he literally just put a couple cones in front of the truck, a couple cones in the back of the truck, and he walked 4, 5, 6 houses down, and he pressure washed everybody's driveways, the sidewalks in front of the driveways, pressure washed the front of the houses, made them look all nice and pretty, and then he put everything in the bed of the truck. And I looked at him, I was like, wait, how many houses are you doing? He's like, oh, I had these 5 or 6 on this street. I'm going to go to the other side of the loop, and I got 5 or 6 in a row on that side, and then I have to go down to Deerwood or Ravenwood or Cobblestone, and I'm doing 5 or 6 houses. I'm like, this kid raked it in one day.
Yeah.
And he literally...
It's hard work, though.
But boy, oh boy, did he earn every penny. He earned his check.
No, of course. But I'm saying, like, all these side hustles that we're talking about, they're not peaches and cream, like they say, It's not like run them and it's a gold mine. You have to put in the work. You have to grind. You have to blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I pressure wash my whole house over there in Florida, and it is work. Like, you are dead. Shoulder workout, back workout, hands workout.
I used to laugh at people. Those big straw hats that people wear when they're out gardening or doing yard work or whatnot?
Of course.
That provide a bunch of shade for your face, your shoulders, everything. This kid literally got out of his quarter ton, put a tank top on, just some Under Armour tank top or dry fit shirt on.
This is a young kid, huh?
Late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
He threw a pair of shorts on. He threw his whatever yard shoes on or whatnot. Pulled his socks up pretty high on his legs to prevent stuff from getting him in the legs. And he just sprayed a bunch of sunscreen on him. He had a Camelback that he threw over his shoulder, clipped in, and put this big straw hat on, and put some cheap like $5 shades from Walmart on, gloves, and he just went to town. And it's like he had body armor, Gatorade, water. Like, he was good. He had fruits. He had a whole cooler with him.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, I go from sun up till sundown. I don't go home until I'm done, until I've gotten everything done. He's like, and if I don't have enough time to get all the houses on my stop, I will call. I won't. He's like, I will not text. I will call my clients that have set up the appointment, and I will tell them, I apologize. I didn't have enough time today to get to you. You'll be first on the list tomorrow unless that's an issue. Tell me when works for you. This kid literally told me he pressure washed at least 200 houses in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then he went next door to the next HOA, Plumber Creek or something of that effect.
Yeah.
Did tributary. He did like 4 or 5 HOAs and I'm like, this kid's paying for his college just pressure washing houses. Like, this.
That's crazy. That's admirable.
Brilliant.
Admirable, yeah.
So there's that. Another passive income that I'm pretty fond of, but this one requires some time, effort, and a lot of research, is stocks, ETFs, and bonds. I've been playing the stock market game now for several years. I win some, I lose some, but I will say that my
When did you start? How long ago?
Realistically, I probably started over a decade ago when I was when I was out in Pearl, and
who got you into it?
I was stationed at the schoolhouse out there. Great billet, great place to work, be stationed. And I absolutely was not really interested in it, but a couple people that I knew from the schoolhouse, they were like, hey man, you should get into stocks and bonds and ETFs. And I said, no, I don't have any interest because I don't know what I'm doing. So Essentially, I jumped into it. I opened up a TD Ameritrade account, started doing some day trading, which let's just say I broke even. I didn't really do that great. But I got into, the Amazons, the
big wigs.
yeah, when they were all on the lower end of the scale, the Alphabet's parent company for Google.
Oh, what kind of alphabets?
Google.
Oh,
Alphabet's the parent company for Google, Class A and Class C. So I got into those. I got into some oil stocks. I got into energy transfer stocks. Tesla. Love Tesla. Elon Musk, he's awesome. Love him or hate him. I think he's great. Some REITs, real estate investment trusts. But most of these companies, what they do is they pay either a monthly, quarterly, semi-annual dividend. But the big thing is almost all of them have strong growth potential. So just as some examples, Viper Energy Transfer LP. There's a few other stocks that I recommend to people.
So just a little bit of, because we're running out of time. What's your basic research on a stock? Basic, short and sweet.
Real simple, straight to
I give you Z stock. This is the new stock in the market, Z.
So, real basic.
What you research about Z?
So all I do for Z, which is an arbitrary example,
Of course.
I will literally go on Cash App, because Cash App has a little stock segment on it. It's very user-friendly. I look at their quarterly earnings for the last 3, 4, 5 quarters. Look at if they've met their earnings expectations or if they were a little bit above. I'll look to see if they have a passive dividend of sorts.
So wait, you can't do this in the other websites like TD Ameritrade,
No,
or it's
hold
because
on.
Cash App is more user friendly?
I think Cash App is more user-friendly.
Okay.
The other one that I love looking at is Yahoo Finance. I think Yahoo Finance is absolutely super user-friendly. And then if that's not what I'm feeling for the day, I'll just Google the stock. I'll
Right.
just Google it, and I'll look at their 52-week range, see what they've done, and then I'll go
A
back.
year, okay, yearly, yeah.
Yep, I'll look at the year, then I'll look back 3 to 5 years, and then I'll look at their max lifeline that they've had to see what they've done. And then I'll Google, it's called Motley Fool. I'll look at that, or I'll look at Morningstar, and I'll see what their future projections are for the next 12, 36.
Like projections in
Like what their growth projections are, like what they're getting,
what they think they're going to make.
what they think they're going to make, and what a lot of the big wigs like Goldman Sachs, Morningstar, all the big ones, what they expect the stock to maybe achieve in the next 2, 3, 4 to 5 years.
I see.
And then I'll either buy it in chunks. So I never recommend buying 3, 4, or 5 shares. I always recommend you buy it in either segments of 25, 50, 75. But the goal is to get to 100 shares and then just let it go. Let it do its thing. If you can't afford to buy 50, 75, or 100 shares, start off with 25. When the stock dips down, or when you have enough funds, buy another 25, get you to 50. Those nice round numbers. When you have the money, put another 25
That's a good
shares.
strategy.
Right. So just quarterly increments, 25, 50, 75 to 100. And then
Quarterly in a year?
if you can, yeah.
Okay.
And then if you get
You say like every 3 months you try and buy 25, 25,
Yeah.
25.
nice round numbers. I mean, there's no real like right or wrong way to do it, but that's what I try to do. And essentially, what I'll always tell people is, if you have dividend payers, select reinvest dividends, so your dividends go back into
Immediately, yes. So you don't get that
and
cash.
just let it grow.
Yeah,
just let it
yeah,
grow.
yeah. I see.
Because if you hold a stock for less than a year, you pay exponentially higher capital gains tax. If you hold a stock for greater than a year, you're on the lower capital gains
You
tax.
say if you sell it before.
Yes.
Okay.
So you buy a stock and then you sell it a few months later. I've been there, done that, got that trophy, lost. You'll pay higher capital gains, especially if you don't really have strong earnings from it. And if you hold it for greater than a year, most of my stocks I've held for several years. So I'm on the lower end of the capital gains, which is actually nice. But that's my recommendation. You have Morningstar, you have Motley Fool, Yahoo Finance, Google, Cash App. You have an abundance of options, but that's what I look at. Look at their earnings, look at their company's overall growth potential, if they pay a dividend, and I will always tell people, ride it out. Stocks are going to dip. The market's going to dip. Unless it completely tanks and it's about to declare bankruptcy, ride it out. It'll come back. And if the stock dips down and it's still paying a dividend, buy more. Lower your cost basis.
That's, yeah.
I know that wasn't exactly short and sweet, but that.
It was pretty much, it was around 7 minutes.
But hey, I think that's all the time we have for this evening's broadcast.
Great talk. Great common sense talk.
Hey,
Common sense conversation.
if anybody has any topics they want us to cover or give our 2 cents on, please put comments on our page. We are open to talk about anything. We're open to anybody's thoughts and opinions. Just try to be as...
Especially controversial. Mike loves the
In the words
controversial spectrum.
in the words of Eminem or Marshall Mathers, whatever the hell his name is.
He is Marshall Mathers.
I'm the king of controversy. and it feels so empty without me. I had to.
Oh my God.
But hey, everybody have a good evening. We're looking forward to the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, TGIF. And as always, God bless America. God bless our troops.
Amen.
And God bless our men and women in blue.
Hoo-yah.
Hell yeah.